Hey friends, today I'm going to take you through a 30-minute moderate intensity lower body workout. We're going to cover all the muscles in our lower body. I'm going to do this workout alongside you so you can follow along with me through the entire workout. You're going to want some shoes, you'll want your water close by, I'm going to give you water breaks, and you'll also need a moderate set of dumbbells or two equally weighted objects. You can get creative if you need to, but that's what you'll need today, guys. So let's go ahead, we're gonna get started. We are going to do 4 different exercises for our warm-up, 4 different mobility drills. We're gonna do each for 45 seconds with 10 seconds rest in between, kind of a transition period. And then we're gonna go through 2 rounds total, okay? We'll take a little bit of a longer breather at the end if we need it, but the goal here is that we should be feeling nice and warm, nice and ready for our workout that is ahead of us. So I'm going to start the timer. This first round, we'll kind of just go through the exercises together. Just watch me, pay attention, feel them out as you go. And then by the second round, you're going to be feeling really confident and we'll just cruise on through them. So I'm going to go ahead, start my timer. The first exercise is going to be a squat with a hamstring stretch, a posterior chain stretch. So what we're going to do, feet shoulder width apart, toes forward. You're going to squat, hands come down, legs come up, feel a nice stretch behind the back. Notice I'm not completely locking my legs out, dropping the hips, standing up. Okay, this doesn't need to be anything crazy fast, especially because it's our first exercise of the day. We might be a little bit cooler. We want to make sure that we take this nice and slow so we can warm up our body properly. You might hear my timer in the background, and that's totally fine. Don't stress. I'll let you know what we're doing when. 10 seconds, and then we are moving on to our next one. Good, stand on up. We've got about 10 seconds here. Shake that out. Hopefully that's feeling pretty good to start. We're going to come to a high plank position for our next warm-up exercise. Shoulders in line with wrists on the toes, and you're going to bring up one leg at a time to the outside of the hands. Now I realize for some, you might not be able to get your legs all the way that high, and that's okay. Keeping core nice and tight, body nice and flat. If you can't get this high, a tap is just as good. Just go as far as you can. Totally fine. Focus on your breathing here. Remember, we're just getting warmed up here. It doesn't need to be anything too crazy. Good. Drop that knee, come on up. Next we're going to do some shuffles, monster walks. You could do these banded or you can just do body weight. You're going to be feet shoulder width apart, toes forward, squat down, stay nice and low. Just small shuffles from one side to the other. Now if you had a band, you might feel this a little bit more in your glutes. But if you're staying nice and low, focusing on those tiny movements, you should still feel this even without a band. You should feel this mostly in your glutes, a little bit lower body. We want to warm up our glutes. We want them to be nice and awake because we want them to have to work today. Keep it up, almost there. Nice and low. Good, stand up, shake it off. One last exercise, and we're going to start from the top. I want you to imagine the bottom kind of half of a jumping jack. You can hold on to something if you need to. You can focus on some balance. Keeping the foot flexed, toe stays forward. We're basically just doing one half of the bottom of a jumping jack. Okay? The reason we want to warm up our glutes is a lot of us sit for a good portion of the day, and our glutes can become a little bit underactive. We want to make sure that they actually are doing their job while we work out. 1, for safety, and 2, just because they tend to be underactive, we want to make sure that we're strengthening them so that that doesn't happen. Now keep in mind, we're only doing one side here because we are going to go through everything one more time. On the next round, you'll do the opposite side. Good, I felt a little bit of a burn there. How about you? Take a couple seconds, then we're starting back at the top with our squat to our hamstring stretch, okay? Feet shoulder width apart, toes forward. Squatting down as far as you can. If it's not too low, that's fine. Pressing the hips up, nice stretch through the back of the hamstrings, maybe a little bit lower back. Back to a squat, stand it up. Good, should be even feeling a little bit better second round through. Might be able to get those legs a little bit straighter. They don't need to be completely locked out, but we do want to feel a nice stretch at the back of those legs. Good. Take 10 seconds, then we are doing our high plank toe taps. So we're going to get towards the ground. High plank position, one leg at a time comes up. Nice stretch through the groin, through the front of the leg. Again, if you can't go that far, that's totally fine. Keeping our core nice and strong, not letting our hips dip down. Again, if this is as far as you can go, hey, that's great. Just go for where you're at. Almost done these. Should be feeling warm by now. I know I'm starting to feel good. Good. Drop it down. Come to standing as you're ready. We are doing those shuffles. Low squat shuffles. Nice and low. I always tell my clients, imagine the ceiling has been cut in half. So now you're trying to stay low, just so you don't hit your head. Hips back. So keep in mind, we're not putting the pressure on our knees. Hips are back, the weight is in our heels. Keep it up. Should be feeling a little bit more of a burn here. If your glutes are a little bit more like, hey, I'm awake, that's great. That's what we're trying to achieve here. Good, shake that out. We're gonna do our opposite side for that glute abduction. Again, you can hold on to something if you need to, or you can rely on balance. One side at a time. Keep in mind, we are not leading with the toe. We are leading with the heel. Foot is completely neutral as we lift it up. Core nice and tight. That'll help with the stability side of this. Keep it up. Keep going. This is a small movement, but if you're doing it correctly, you will feel it in the right spot, and right in the top of your glute. Good, shake that out. All right, how are we feeling? Are we feeling like we're ready to go? That was our warm-up. We should be feeling pretty good at this stage, and now we're going to move into the exercise portion of today, the more structured portion of today. So we are going to do 3 different kind of rounds today. They're going to have 2 exercises within each round, so they're going to be supersets. We are going to do 45 seconds with 10 seconds transition, and our goal today is going to get through 3 rounds back to back to back without any rest. So we're going to do 2 exercises. We're going to try and complete 3 rounds within that superset. Then we'll take a longer breather before we move on to some other exercises. Make sense? Don't worry if you're like, what's going on? Because I'm going to walk you through it. But we're going to start with 2 exercises, 45 seconds, 3 rounds. We're going to try and coast through them. Okay, I'm just going to adjust my timer here. Again, the first round, I'm going to show you the exercises. We'll do them together. Second and third round, you're going to be feeling really confident. All right, first exercise we are going to start with is going to be a squat with a pulse and then stand. Follow me here as we go. Feet shoulder width apart, toes forward, nice upright posture. You're going to squat down, then you're going to come up halfway, squat again, stand up. That is our pulse. Squat, pulse, stand. Squeezing the glutes at the top, keeping our weight in the heels. Notice that this pulse is happening from the hips and not the knees. Does that make sense? Squat, pulse, stand. Squat, pulse, stand. Let's focus on our knees being over top of our toes. You can have a glance down. Make sure that your knees aren't caving in or splaying out. Good. Done that, 10 seconds. Now you're gonna grab some weights. Hopefully you got some close by. Literally, you can grab anything that is weighted. We're gonna be feet wider than shoulder width apart, toes facing out, shoulders back. You're gonna bend, knees follow out with the toes, stand up. This is what we call a plie squat. Coming all the way down, all the way up. When I do this exercise with clients, one thing that I really try and watch for, and you're gonna have to be your guide today, is when you squat down, I don't want you to see your knees caving in. So if you see that happening, one, I either want you to focus on bringing those knees out further, or I want you to bring the toes in a little bit more narrow and go that way. If you don't completely have that range of motion, that's okay. But ideally we want knees to be extending out in the same direction as our toes. 10 seconds here, and then we're starting from the top with our squat, pulse, stand. Okay, this is round 2, guys. Stick with me. We're doing good. Squat, pulse, stand. Stand, good. Shoulders back here. We're not arching forward. We're not rounding. That pulse is very tiny. It's like we're cheating. It's like we think we're going up, but oh, we're going back down. It's like a quarter of a squat. Should be feeling the burn here. I know I am. If you're not, feel free to add a weight. If you want, you can hold it right here. Good. Almost there, guys. Good, shake that out. Hopefully feeling in our legs a little bit here now. We're gonna grab our weights, do our plie squat. Remember from last time, I want you to keep in mind where your knees are going, and we can make adjustments if we notice they're maybe not right on track or right where we want them to be. I'll show you this from the side. Keep in mind that my back is staying nice and flat here. Chest is upright, not caving forward, rounding forward, staying nice in that pocket. If you need to, you can imagine there's a wall right in front of you and you're trying to slide down in front of it without actually touching it. Keep it up. Good job. That's round 2 done. We got one last round here, guys, and then we are done with these exercises. Squat, pulse, stand. Here we go, guys, last round. Squat, pulse, stand. Squat, pulse, stand. Ooh, these are feeling good. Stick with me here. The beauty of timed exercises is it's all about quality over quantity. So if you could only do 5 reps within 45 seconds, but there were 5 amazing reps, then that's great. That's worth celebrating. We do not need to rush here for the sake of getting reps in. Good. Done that, guys. We don't ever have to do that one again. Let's move on to our plie squat. One last round here, and then we are moving on. Weights are held in the center, toes outward, knees follow out. Focus on our breathing here. Focus on where our knees are going, focusing on squeezing through our glutes at the top. Almost done here, guys, and then we'll get a longer breather. Get a water. Doing great. Ten seconds here. Done. Put your weights aside. How'd that feel? Not too bad. You made it through. Take a breather. Catch your breath here. Grab a drink. I'm going to grab a drink, so I encourage you to do it. And then we're going to move on to our second set of exercises. Similar format, just different exercises. I'm feeling the burn. I'm feeling a little bit of heat. All right, collect yourself a little bit. It needs to be crazy intense all the time. We can let ourselves come down a little bit in between. It's good for our recovery. It's good for our heart, for our lungs. Our next two exercises, we're going to still target lower body. We're going to do it in the same format. So 3 rounds, 4 to 5 seconds work, 10 seconds transition or rest, 3 rounds total, and we'll have a nice bigger break. Grab those weights again. Shoulders getting back, toes forward. Bending, so this is like a squat, but the weight is in front. This is what we're calling a bent-legged deadlift. So keep in mind, it is like a squat position, but the weight is in front. And notice, I'm not going crazy deep here. And the reason why is because if you feel this inclination to reach towards the ground, you're going to end up really rounded. So we want to make sure that our shoulders still stay back as we do this. So we're really only going, just below the knee. Bending through both the knees and the hips. Keeping shoulders back, head stays neutral. Squeezing through the glutes at the top. Nice job. Put those weights down. Now we're going to do alternating reverse lunges. So at the top of your mat, shoulders nice and back. Bringing that foot back. And notice, I even reached for something. If you need that, by all means, go for it. Have a little bit of extra stability there. Otherwise, we're just focusing on bringing that back knee out as far as it'll go. Bending through both knees. Chest stays nice and upright in the center. That front knee doesn't extend beyond the toe. If you want a little extra challenge, you are more than welcome to add some dumbbells here. But if this is feeling good, stick with it. Good. 1 round down, 2 to go. Shake it out. Grab your weights. Our bent-legged deadlift. Shoulders back, toes forward, straight from the side angle. Palms come in front. Palms are facing you the whole time, bending through both the hips and the knees, standing up. Shoulders back at the top. Squeezing our shoulder blades together the whole time. If you feel like you're getting fatigued in your lower back, you can always just take a second, shake it out, think about using your core, and start again. Keep it up, guys. Good job. Round 2 done. Now we do our reverse lunges to officially finish our second round. Here we go. Nice upright posture. Leg comes back. Bending 90-90 with both knees. The beauty of reverse lunges is generally the weight follows us backwards, so we don't have to worry too much about our front knee extending beyond the toe. But one thing we do want to be mindful of with our lunges is that we're not putting too much pressure on that front knee. Stay nice and central. Coming back to the top. Squeezing our glutes. Again, if you need some kind of support, you can put a foam roller here. You can have a chair. That's great. That's fine. The fact that you're moving, the fact that you're working these muscles is worth celebrating in whatever capacity. Good. Shake it out, guys. We have one last round here. Then we're moving on to our last set of exercises. We're getting close. Bend-legged deadlift. Toes forward, shoulders back. Bending to just below the knee. Should feel a nice kind of burn, or at least like the back, lower half of your body is working. It might feel like a little bit of a stretch at the bottom, which is okay. One thing we want to make sure of is that we are just squeezing those shoulder blades. I probably sound like a broken record, but because the weight is in the front of your legs, it's really easy to let your shoulders relax. We want to be really engaged there so our back stays nice and flat. Keep it up. Done there. Let's do our reverse lunges one last time, and then we are moving on. We will take a longer breather after this. Just gotta get through this. Here we go. Focus on your breathing here. Depending on how challenging this feels for you right now, you might find that you're breathing a little heavier. That's okay. Just focus on bringing it down a bit. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Getting real close. Keep it up. Almost there. Nice job, guys. Take a breather. Shake it out. How's those legs feeling? I know mine are feeling pretty good. Let yourself come down a bit. Check in with yourself. How was that in comparison to the first set of exercises? Harder, easier? What can you take away from it? Grab a drink. I am. And then we're going to do one last set of 2 exercises, 3 rounds, and then we're stretching out. That's good. We are almost there, friends. All right. One last time. Follow me for the first round, second and third round. You're rocking. We're going to come down to the ground for our first exercise. So follow me there. You're going to want one weight. Heels are going to come nice and close to your bum. Weight is going to rest on the hips, shoulders back, lifting the glutes. This is a double leg glute bridge, squeezing our glutes and our hips as high as they'll go towards the ceiling, coming back down. Okay, keep it up nice and controlled here. The tempo is like a 1, 2, and then a 1, 2. So counting for 2 on the way up, and for 2 on the way down. You can do this body weight if you need to. You can grab a heavier weight if you needed to. It works either way. Good. Take that off. You're going to flip yourself around. 4-point kneeling. So wrists in line with shoulders, knees in line with hips. You're going to bring one foot out. You're going to flex the foot. You're going to raise. Okay, notice one thing here, that I'm not kicking or lifting through the back, right? Foot stay nice and flexed. This is a very slow movement, very similar to our warm-up, but because now that we've worked our lower body, you should feel this in your glutes a little bit more. Keep in mind, we are only doing one side right here because we're doing 3 rounds. We're going to alternate sides, and then that last time, we will alternate in the exercise. Just stick with me. I'll talk to you. Woo! That was good. Okay. Collect yourselves. Flip on over again. Back toward glute bridges. Heels nice and close to our bum. Lifting through the glutes. Big squeeze. Try and push your hips as high as they'll go. If you are feeling this a little bit in your lower back, not the end of the world, but we want to keep in mind it feels more like it's being worked, you're slightly fatigued, and it feels in pain. So if it feels not good, you can chill here for a little while, try it again, maybe take the weight off. Keep it up, guys. Good. Woo, almost there. Flip around. We're going to do our opposite side now. 4-point kneeling. Opposite leg, foot is flexed. Very small movement, so focusing on keeping our hips neutral, core tight, only using our glute to lift that leg. So no back, no kicking, no momentum, just a nice, gentle lift. But really, trust me, if you focus on just that small movement, you will start to feel it in the exact spot that you are meant to. Keep it up, guys. You're almost there. Head stays neutral here. We're not looking at our legs. We're not looking, out in front of us. Looking directly forward. Good job, guys. One more time. We're going to flip over. We've got one last set, and then we are stretching out here, okay? Stick with me. I've got a good sweat going on. What about you guys? Okay, glute bridges. One more time. As we finish these sets, our tendency is to kind of go a little slack towards the finish. But I want you to think about it. How can I make this last set? How can I put my best effort forward here? I'm almost finished. How can I finish strong? Keep going, guys. Hips stay nice and high. Good. One last time, guys. Let's flip around. This time we are alternating legs. So both feet are going to be flat. You are going to lift, flex the foot, bring it back down, flatten the foot. Lift, flex the foot, flatten the foot. So notice now that I'm alternating legs. We did 45 seconds on each one leg, and now we're going to get about 20 seconds on each leg here. So we're doing 3. We balance ourselves out. Flexing the foot at the top, squeezing that glute. I am feeling it, and it's great. Shoulders stay back, back stays flat. Woo! Nicely done, guys. Awesome job. The hardest part is over now. We are stretching out. Life is good. You're almost done your workout for the day. First stretch we're going to do is going to be a quad stretch. And you may want to hold on to something. You may want to rely on balance. Whatever works for you. One foot, you're going to put all your weight on one foot. You're going to kick out that back leg. Hold it, stretching out the front of the quad. Now, one thing we want to keep in mind is that our butt is not sticking out here because we're actually not going to get that great a stretch. We want to make sure that we're nice and neutral. Chest is upright. Squeezing our glute to push that hip out a little further. Getting a nice good stretch across the front of the quad, maybe a little bit into the hip flexor. Now that you're in the cool down, I want you to focus on bringing down that breath. If you want to grab a drink, you can. I didn't even give you a chance. My goodness. You're welcome to grab a drink. Then you're going to switch sides. You're almost close to the finish. Switch sides. Shoulders back here. How'd you guys like today? I hope great. I hope you're feeling a little bit of a burn here, a little bit of a sweat. 30 minutes, it really doesn't need to be all that long in order to feel like we've moved our body well, we've enjoyed some exercise. Good, you can let that relax. Next stretch. Again, your weight is going to come to one side. You're going to bring one leg out. You're going to flex the foot, and then you're going to bend through the hip. So push hips back. Naturally, the leg that is behind is going to want to bend a bit more. That front leg can come straight. You should feel a nice stretch across the back of the hamstring and the back of the calf. The more you flex that foot, the more you'll feel it in the calf, but this should just feel like a nice overall stretch. Notice that I'm not leaning forward. Back stays nice and flat, head neutral. Good, switch sides. Great. Might even feel a little bit of a stretch in that glute, which is exactly what we're going to do next. So come down to the ground, nice and easy. You are going to take one leg straight. You are going to bend the other leg over top of it. Hands come back to support. You're going to bring that one leg bent. Okay? This might feel quite intense for a stretch, so you may need to keep that leg fairly straight. If you're really flexible in your glutes, you can bring it up fairly high. But you should feel this in the leg that is bent. Should feel a nice stretch. Keep your hands, both hands behind if you like. If you want to get a little bit more mobility, you can add some just like a gentle pressure through that hand. This should feel like a good overall stretch. Good. Okay, go ahead and switch sides. So now the other leg comes straight. We cross over, hands come back, leg is up. So feel the stretch in the leg that is bent. This one for me, you might even notice one is tighter than the other. This one actually feels tighter for me. So this leg is going to come a little bit straighter. And again, you can use this hand if you want to apply a bit of pressure. It does require a little bit of stability, so just make sure you have that. Otherwise, both hands behind is totally fine. Right, and the last stretch we're going to do today, guys, legs come forward, shake out those legs. All you're going to do, let one foot relax. You're going to flex the other. If you can reach forward, that's great. But this should feel pretty good in the calf, maybe a little bit of hamstring, maybe a bit more in the calf. And hey, if you can't touch your foot, you can still absolutely feel this in your calf if you are just flexing it without actually holding. Good, switch sides. Breathing should have come down by now, but I encourage you, if you want a little bit more of a stretch, if you want a little bit more cool down time, take it. Absolutely. Let yourself come back down to a place that feels normal before you brush off and do whatever else you want to do today. Good. Shake that out a few times. Awesome job today, guys. I really just applaud you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this workout. I'm glad that I could do it alongside you. Let me know how you go. I would love to hear you, but I'll see you next time.